Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we're going to run through the process of ordering, configuring and installing a SMIME email certificate onto a iOS device like an iPad or iPhone. So on our SSL Trust website, we'll just go to the email certificates page and you'll see we do have a selection of different email SMIME certificates from different certificate authorities: Verikey, Citigo and DigiCert. Now these different certificates do have different features, like the amount of email addresses you can have in them, how fast they're issued, and the validation. These ones here are email validated, while the ones down here are business validated, requiring you to validate your business. And they will show additional details like the employee's name and email address in the certificate. So we're going to order this one today for our business. And over on the right hand side, we can select how many years. And when we have that selection, we can add it to cart. Now go through the checkout process, enter your details and complete the order. And when the order is complete, the certificate will be in your account ready for the configuration. We have one here that I've already added to my account under My Services. From the menu on the left, you can go to My Services and you'll see it there. So we'll just click on Manage, and this will come to the Manage Product page, the Secure Employee Email, and we'll click Start Certificate Configuration. Now here is the configuration page, and this is for the email identity and business validation process. So the first one we need to do is do the organization. Now if we're doing this for a new organization, we can click this and we can enter all the organization details. We do need to make sure that we enter the correct name, legal name, address, and organization contact details, because the certificate authority will be verifying all these and it can take a couple of days. Now I've already got the organization validated here, and you may too if you're a customer for a while with us. And you'll see here it's got SMIME organization validation already active and ready to go. So I've selected that and I'll click continue. Now with the organization selected, we come down to the certificate configuration. Now depending on the certificate you're ordering, it may have different options here, but with this one, we do have the option to select what we want in the certificate common name, the employee name, or just an email address. And today we'll just do an email address. Okay, so I've got an email there entered, and then we come to this certificate sign-in request. Now you will need to either generate the CSR and private key on your computer or where it's being installed, or you can generate one here. So for the common name, I'll enter an email address. This won't actually be used, but it will be good for identifying the certificate, the CSR, in the future if need be. So we'll just generate that with the common name. All the other fields here are optional. And this will generate the CSR and private key. Now we do need to make sure we download these and save them and keep them safe. So we'll just download this and download the CSR in case we need to use that again later on. Now we will be using this private key later on, and we'll be using the CSR now. So we'll just click that and the CSR is filled in, and there we go. All right. Now depending on the certificate you're ordering, you may have different options here. So for certificate use, we've got options of signing and encryption only, or for dual use. And then we have some other options like certificate authentication, depending on what you want to use this SMIME certificate for. So I'll scroll down. If need be, we can add additional email addresses that we want in the certificate. And when that is all good, the configuration. Yep. So yeah, we can select additional emails here, but yeah, we don't need one here. So when all that is good, we'll click next. And then we come to the organization admin contact details. This will be the approver for the organization, and they will be approving, say, the domain name and possibly the identity of the person you are entering. When all good, click Submit Configuration. And there we go. That's a success. Alright, now you'll see here that the organization and email validation is already completed. This is because I selected a pre-validated organization. You may need to go through the validation organization process, which can take a couple of days. So keep an eye out for an email, phone call from the certificate authority, and an email to approve the domain name and email address that you are having secured in your certificate. Okay, so the common name there is my email address that I wanted, and that's all good. So I'll click download certificate, and that will take me to the collection download page. Now, you can get to this from the manage product page. So I'll just refresh this, and here we go. So we got the collect download certificate button there. So if I click that, it'll take me to the same page. And you will see here now we've got the certificate and the intermediate certificate. Now, because we're installing this on an iOS device, we do need a PFX file. That is the easiest way to install the certificate, intermediate certificate, and private key. On the collection page, we do have a generate PFX file option here. So I'll just click that, and we come to the generation. Okay. So now we need the private key. This is the private key that we generated with our CSR previously. So I'll drag that in. The file that I downloaded, the private key. There we go. Now, we don't need a password to decrypt it because we didn't use one to generate the private key. Now, because we're installing on an iOS device, it will actually ask us for a password when we install it. So, it is a good idea to just enter one here, something nice and simple. And then, okay, now we need to make sure we include the intermediate certificates. If we don't have that selected, it won't be trusted. So with all that good, generate and download, and that will download the PFX file to your computer. Okay, so we've got the PFX file and certificates. That's all good. So now we need to install it on our iOS device. So you will need to send the PFX file to your iOS device. You can email it to yourself, or you can use the AirDrop or some kind of file sync to send it to your iOS device. So I've sent it via AirDrop to my iPad here. So I'm going to launch the files program app. Okay, now here's that PFX file I generated. So I'm just going to select that and click that, and then it will ask you to choose a device, possibly. Now I'm going to select it to install on the iPad, and it'll say profile downloaded. That is what we want. Okay, now with that done, go to your settings, and in the left menu, you'll see a menu option, profile downloaded. So click that, and this will bring up the profile, the certificate details. And it'll say identity certificate, and that looks all good. Now it will say not signed. That is okay. So we'll just click install, enter the password of your iOS device. This is not the certificate password, that'll be later on. And click install, install. Now it will ask for that PFX encrypted password. So just enter the password and click next, and done. Now that certificate is installed on your iOS device. If for some neat reason you need to find that actual certificate again, you'll find that under the general settings and VPN and device management. That's in case you need to delete it or something. Okay. So now with that certificate installed, we need to install on our mail program, iOS Mail. So on the left-hand menu, find the Mail app. Here we go. Click that. And from there, click the accounts menu item. Now find the email account that you want to install the certificate. Here it is. And then when that brings up, you will need to click that account again. Okay, now this will bring up advanced settings. And you will see a menu item under SMIME to sign, encrypt, and encrypt. So select the sign one, enable that, and the certificate will be there, pre-filled, and do that again for encrypt. If you have multiple certificates, you can click the little info and there we go. So that's the certificate that we installed. And you'll see here that says trusted. That's what we want. If it doesn't say trusted, that could be because you haven't also included the intermediate certificates. So with that all done, click back, and done. And that's it. Your certificate is now installed on your mail client program app. So when you send an email via the iOS mail, it will actually be signed. Now, if need be, possibly you need to add another email address, which is quite often because people often find out, oh, I've got multiple email addresses. You can come back to the SSL Trust portal and click the reissue button. And you can change any details here, such as maybe you want your employee's name now instead of the email address. You can load the previously used CSR, or if you want to use a new one, you can paste that in. And you can change the certificate usage, and here's the additional email fields. So you may need to enter any email address that you additionally need to come up in your certificate. And when that reissue is complete, you'll be issued a new certificate, and you will need to install it the same process that we did on the first one that was issued. And you can delete the old one when you install the new one. Now, I hope this tutorial was useful for you and you successfully installed your new SMIME email certificate. And thanks for watching.